Hey y'all, in this video lesson, we're going to be talking about APR and monthly payments. Before we get into APR, we're going to talk about the Truth in Lending Act. And what this addresses are two things: how we can tell the true annual interest rate a lender is charging, and how much of the finance charge we are entitled to save if we decide to pay off the loan sooner than scheduled. So what made customers question this and lead to this act was certain companies were advertising rates differently, and they needed some streamlining to keep companies truthful, have integrity. So companies or lenders standardized this annual rate by creating APR. And this standardized rates across all companies, all lenders, because it's based on a formula, but they summarize this formula in a table that we're going to use today. So we're going to use this table to help us calculate APR based on a specific add-on rate. Now, I grabbed this table from Google, so it has some numbers already circled. We're just going to ignore those circles for this. But I have an example here. We've actually covered some of this example already, but we're going to go a little bit further and figure out that APR so that we know what we're actually being charged. Julie's buying $6,200 worth of furniture for her first house. She puts $1,500 down and she wants to pay the rest off at a 3% add-on rate for 3 years. Now, 3% add-on rate, that's just the interest rate. That's not the APR. So the interest rate, you pay back this loan monthly, and that interest rate applies monthly, but APR is an annual percentage rate. So we're going to be figuring out annually what we're actually paying back. And essentially here, we're going to find that it's going to be a little bit higher because there are added fees hidden that we don't necessarily see that are associated with the cost of borrowing money. So if they're going to take a risk on you, they're going to add some fees just so that their risk is low. We have to first figure out how much is being financed. So we're going to do 6,200 minus the down payment. And so actually 4,700 is being financed. Then we need to figure out the interest on that loan. Remember that this type of loan is simple interest. So we're going to do P, R, and T. And this should come out to $423. My money sign got a little bit funny. So that's the add-on amount. That's the interest amount that we're adding to this loan. But we're going to use that finance charge to figure out APR. We're going to take the finance charge, we're going to put it over the amount being financed and multiply it by 100 to figure out how many dollars per 100 were being charged. And let's see what this comes out to. We've got 423 over 4,700 times 100 is $9. So $9 per 100. Now we're going to use that dollar amount with our table to figure out the APR, the annual percentage rate. This was a 3-year loan, which means 36 months. So on this table, I'm going to go to 36 months. I'm going to get as close to 9 as I can inside the table. So it looks to me that that's around here. And that's going to be between 5.5 and 6. So APR is between 5.5 and 6%. Now we can get a more accurate percentage using the calculator I will step you through that. Not yet. We will later in the lesson, but we can get a true percentage here, exacts instead of roundabouts. But you can see that this APR is higher than that add-on rate. There's those additional fees that we don't necessarily see, but we're definitely paying for. Next thing I want to go over is monthly payments for loans. So this is how you can figure out your monthly payments. There are calculators online where you can put in all this stuff and do it that way, but I just want to show you where these numbers are coming from so that you understand them. It's always a good practice to check your bills mathematically to make sure that you're being charged the correct amount. The monthly payment for a loan is found by adding the amount financed, the loan amount, and the finance charge. Then divide by the number of months for monthly payment. Makes sense. In the first example, we are finding the monthly payment. We have the purchase amount, we have the down payment, and they've given us the finance charge. So in this particular example, we have everything we need to calculate the monthly payment. The purchase amount was $5,000, but the down payment was $1,000. So we're actually only paying off $4,000. Or financing, sorry, $4,000. And then there's a finance charge of $250. So we're actually paying off $4,250. Then we're going to take that amount and divide it by the number of months and get a little estimate here. 4,250 divided by 36 months is about $118.06 per month. Not too bad. So you total up what you owe, divide it by the number of months, and that's it. Now in the next example, we are not given the finance charge, but we are given the interest amount. And since we're just focusing on monthly payment, we're just going to use that add-on rate as is. We're not going to find the APR. So we're going to take the purchase amount minus the down payment. We're financing $4,000. And then I need to find the finance charge because I wasn't given that. And remember, this is simple interest. $4,000 times our rate times our time in years. Make sure I got that right. 4,000 times our rate as a decimal times 1, I don't really need, is $168. So what we're actually financing is $4,168. And we're paying it off over 12 months. And we get about $347.33 a month. So that's monthly payments with simple interest. Not too bad. Remember, your first step is we subtracted these two amounts to figure out how much we're actually having to pay off. All right, moving on, going back to APR and finding APR based on information given. So after a down payment on her car, Maria owed $15,352. She agreed to a 48-month contract with monthly payments of $368. What is the APR on her loan? So we know that she owes this much, but she's actually paying 48 months worth of $368. So I need to figure out how much that is. So I'm going to go down here and find how much that is. So I'm going to type that in. Not going to do that in my head. 48 times 368. So she's actually paying $17,664 minus the loan amount, $15,352. Make sure I have all my numbers right. Don't want to type them in wrong. Minus $15,352. So the finance charge was $2,312. That was that additional amount that she paid on her loan. Now we're going to take that finance charge and find the APR based on our table. So we're going to take the finance charge over the finance amount, that's the lower number in this case, times 100, and figure out what that is. 2312 divided by 15,352 times 100 is about $15. So she's paying about $15 per 100 on this loan. Now we can use our table. This was a 48-month loan at $15 per 100, which puts us between 7 and 7.5% APR. And that's it. That's all you have to do. You can do this in your calculator, so I will show you the steps for that, and we can find that exact APR because at this moment we just have a rough estimate between 7 and 7.5. So we're going to use our calculator to not only confirm that, but also find a more accurate number for that. We are going to use the finance app, go to TBM Solver, and then I'll show you what to type in. Go to calculator, whoops, there we go. Apps, finance, TBM Solver. And we are going to put in, this problem so we can figure out the APR. So N is the number of payments. This is a 48-month contract. We don't know, so I'm just going to leave it right now. I'm not going to change it. I'll go back and change it later. PV is what you're paying off, and that was $15,352. Payment is those monthly payments, $368. Oh, I need to make this negative because we're paying. Sorry about that. Future value is the amount. Actually, scratch that. We're going to leave it. We're just going to put it at 0. So we have 48 months. We have the loan amount, the payment as a negative. I put 0 for future value. We're paying 12 times a year. And then you're going to go up to I, hit alpha, enter, or in my case, I had to hit solve. And you should see 7.05% right there. So our APR, we can confirm, is between 7 and 7.5. It was actually 7.05%. And that's it. So I have those steps down here. This box has what I typed in case you need to reference that. And then below that are the keys that I typed for it. Last example, we've actually kind of already done this. We've started it previously. We found the monthly payment up here, but let's just start it from scratch like we've never seen it before, in case you see something like this in your homework. All right, so we have the purchase amount, the down payment, the add-on rate, and the number of months. So we're going to find how much we're financing. We do 4,340 minus 340. That's $4,000 is what we're taking our loan out on. And then we find the monthly payment. So to do that, we need to figure out the finance charge to figure out how much is being added on. And remember, that's simple interest. 2 for 1 year. And that was, I believe, $168. Go back and check. Yeah. And then we take the finance amount plus the finance charge divided by 12, and that was $347.33. So before we can find the APR on a question like this, we have to know the monthly payment, and that's why I had to go through those steps. So if you want to use your TVM solver, then you have to know the monthly payment in order to find it. So that's why we did that. Now, if you want to use your table, you just have to do the finance charge over the original times 100, use the table that way. So if you want to do it that way, you can. But if you don't have a table, you have your calculator, then you do have to find that monthly payment. So now we use TVM Solver. We go to Finance, or Apps, Finance, TVM Solver, and we're going to type in these pieces of information. N is the number of payments. This was a 12-month loan. I is what we're looking for. PV is what we are paying on. And the loan is on $4,000. Payment, that's what we just found. Make sure it's negative. And then future value, just leave 0. There's 12 payments a year, so put 12 in both of those. Now go back up to I and do alpha, enter, or in my case, I'm going to hit solve, but I need to go ahead and type it in. 12 months, don't know, 4,000, negative 347.33, and the rest I'm going to leave. Go back up to I, hit alpha, enter, or solve. And I got 7.66% for APR. 66% APR. That is all I have for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to help, and I'll see you in the next one.